The latest Accountancy Age Periscope broadcast. Bit of a Christmas cracker here today in the wonderful blue anchor, Thames. I can see off behind cameraman. Welcome to our latest broadcast. I'm Kevin Reid, the editor of Accountancy Age, and a bit of a Christmas cracker here today. We're going to cover KPMG having a pretty bad week, I think it's fair to say, and we'll also talk about the FRC and some of the issues that are arising out of the HBOS audit failings and the ramifications of that. Let's start at the beginning. So we've had KPMG UK's numbers out today. The top line figure is that the partners are effectively being hit with a £90,000 pay cut as a result of the investment funding that's been going on in the business over the last year or so. So unfortunately that's going to cut their pay down at a fair whack, but it's nice to know that their boss Simon Collins is still going to take home £2.2 million this year. So you know he's not doing too badly. In fairness, he has taken a £300,000 pay cut out of that. So what's been going on at the Big Four firm over the last 12 months? Well, revenues are actually up over 2.5% to £1.96 billion. But what's happened is their profits have been cut, their margins have been eaten into because they've been using these funds to invest in various projects. As I'm sure you're aware, they have pushed very hard in the SME space, working with Google and buying lots of tech consulting businesses. So there's also a lot of tech advisory side of their business that they're looking to beef up. And this is basically what Simon Collins has said, you know, we've been making big investments this year. Of course, I think what's interesting to bear in mind is that in the SME space, if they're spending lots of money dealing with SME clients, the margins don't tend to be as good as far as SME clients are concerned. So it'll be interesting to see how that all marries up and whether the firm can up its partner profits in the next 12 months. Simon Collins says he's confident of better performance next year as these investments start to pay off. But again, we shall have to wait and see. What else has been going on with KPMG? Well, obviously they had 4 senior partners arrested from their Belfast offices as part of an investigation into alleged tax evasion. So, you know, that's also not a fun thing to have attached to KPMG's name, although the work and the issues that are involved are actually not related to KPMG themselves. KPMG has also been under pressure around its audit work as far as HBOS is concerned. And as you'll be aware, we had a big report in the last week or so which said that, well, yeah, KPMG were flagging concerns up. When it came to the crunch, HBOS were pushing on with their plans in terms of how they dealt with lending. What's interesting now is obviously the Treasury Select Committee is starting to take evidence around the fallout from this report, and Andrew Tyrie, who chairs the TSC, is, shall we say, exasperated that the FRC, the accounting regulator, is not pushing KPMG harder around investigations. FRC had basically said that, you know, we're kind of satisfied with what we were asked to check out, and Tyrie is asking for more work to be done on that front. So obviously that's not a nice thing for KPMG to have hanging over them. It's also interesting that again the FRC is being pushed to be more aggressive, more bolshy. So again, we shall see how that pans out, but that doesn't look great on the FRC, particularly as they've been doing a lot around trying to promote good governance. So really that kind of takes us towards the end of the year. As you can see, there's a bit of a festive spirit here. We're about to have our Christmas party here at Accountancy Age in this wonderful pub. I'll try and do another broadcast next Wednesday as a kind of review of the year. Obviously next Friday we'll be busy eating Brussels sprouts and the like, and at home with our families. So I wish you all a Merry Christmas. We'll see you again next Wednesday though, and we'll do a roundup of the year. Callum, have we had any questions?
We've had a couple actually. First the lighter one is that a Christmas jumper?
No, it's more of a lifestyle choice. So I'd say no, it's not a joke.
The other question was, should the FRC be harder on all the auditors, especially the big ones?
Well, it's a constant criticism of the FRC. Obviously, when the FRC was originally formed, the first case held by its tribunal around Mayflower, the FRC or the AADB lost that case, as you may remember, many years ago now actually. And I think they've always kind of been on a bit of a back foot from there on in. Yeah, I think we would like to see the FRC be even tougher. They've tried to increase the penalties that they can issue, but they've come up against resistance as far as that's concerned. And obviously MPs are always going to talk the talk. So, you know, it's always interesting to kind of consider whether the MPs represent the broader views. And, you know, at the end of the day, have KPMG actually really done anything wrong? Are there changes being made to the audit processes and governance to try and make sure that some of these mistakes or some of these concerns don't end up being repeated? So it may be flaws around the actual process and what audit is meant to undertake, as opposed to KPMG doing anything wrong. So I think that's worth bearing in mind, and the FRC are pushing to make audit more robust process in itself. So I think that's about my lot. I'm going to carry on drinking my Budvar and enjoy my Brussels sprouts and my pigs in blankets. See you on the other side.